Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chips and Talk, where we grab snacks and we chat. A little variation there from the subtitle that I originally used for Chips and Talk, but this is episode 56, I believe. I may have it wrong, but it is episode 56. And many episodes, I don't know if that's the right word, but about 3 or 4 episodes before this one, I didn't really eat like any snack, and that's because usually when I recorded these, I'd be full or near full or whatever. But I'm pleased to announce that I'm finally going to be eating some snacks. And by just snacks, I mean really just one snack. And it is currently Lay's Baked Barbecue. I am the baked, Frito-Lay brand is an interesting one. The Cheetos, I think, are a safe option when, but the only reason you would really pick them is because of the less fat thing, right? Which is the whole reason why they even made this. But you do notice the difference. But it's fine enough. It's decent. It's not horrible. So it's like this thing of like, okay, yeah, like I'm going to be sacrificing some actual goodness in the chips, a decent amount of taste for a healthier option. And, that's what you have to do. So, but these are in particular are a little bit more dry. You notice it with the Cheetos as well. You notice the dryness. Yeah. These are pretty good though. They maintain the flavor. No, they taste a little bit of, they taste a little like homemade in a way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. But they're not as thin. The original Lay's barbecue chips, they're a little bit more thin, very crunchy. These are crunchy too, but I would say the original Lay's barbecue, they're just very, very thin. And they have more flavor to them. These are a little bit more dry. Like I said, they taste a little bit more homemade. But I think it's a decent alternative. Look at this. This is not... That doesn't look like what a chip should look like. This looks like a deformity or something. But it's good. It's good. I enjoy it. It's better than nothing. It's the kind of brand that I've been buying lately because I love chips. Chips are my favorite, probably one of my favorites. My favorite snack, I would say. There's nothing like having some chips and then like drinking some water afterwards. It's the best. It's the best. But I hope you've been doing well. Actually, should I get a thumbnail? I wonder if I should get a thumbnail. I don't know. I got the barbecue chip bag right up front, so I don't know if we should get a thumbnail. I don't really know even what thumbnail we should do. I don't know. I'm just gonna do this. There we go. But yeah, I just really got into this podcast. I haven't even said, hey, how you guys doing, whatnot, right? Thank you for joining me today, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, or on my YouTube channel, superjesusjackson, and watching the video version of this podcast, which is probably the best way to enjoy the podcast because you see my beautiful face. I appreciate you being here. It means a lot. Go ahead and comment down below. Send me an email at superjesusjackson@gmail.com with topics, what you would like me to talk about in future episodes, inquiries, responses. Give the video a like, dislike the video, leave a rating on the podcast platform of your choice. All that hip hop or pop, whatever people say. I want to know if you really got that joke, but yeah. I think that's it. We can get into what I've been up to. What have I been up to? Well, I've been super busy at work to the point where it's interesting. The career world really does a number on you. You go to school, and you think everything's fine, and you're just going about it, right? You're going to school, you're doing your homework, you're just being that nice college student. You're doing the thing, and then you just want to go out to the career world. And you're so excited to finally go out to the career world and do the deed, do the very thing that you've been wanting to do all this time. Because when you're in school, of course, it's very easy to just be like, oh my God, I want to get out of here, right? But, you have to do what you have to do, right? So you go to school, you do all that, and then you get excited, you get internships or whatnot, you finally get the job in the career that you are meant to be in, right? Because of just, you were majoring in whatever. And then you come to find that it's the same old thing. It's hopefully you're doing something that you enjoy, that makes you happy, but ultimately it is the same thing. It becomes just that 9 to 5 thing, and on the contrary, it becomes probably a little bit more time consuming. You just end up replacing whatever it is that you were doing, in school or whatnot, with work, and then some, So it's a 9 to 5 type of job, but it's got a little bit more labor to it now, and it's got a little bit more passion in it now. It's a little bit more meaningful, of course, and you feel like you're actually doing something important in your life, which is great. But, you do have to put in more hours in a weird way. Some people do, at least. Of course, there's always those people that don't. But, it just becomes sort of another hole. You climb one hole just to get into another. And that's what the career world is to me. But I might be in a certain predicament because I am I'm an artist. I'm creative, and so I love just editing videos. I love creating content. And that's not something that I really do at my job. And so I try to make the most out of it whenever I get to do what I enjoy doing. But even though, unfortunately, because of that, because of the amount of heft and the amount of time that the career world takes, the little time that you do have at home or whatever, or the off time to do your hobby or to even have fun is much more lessened. And because sleep is so important and just workload is very important, that can really take a tax on you. To the point where, even when you're on your off days and you're trying to do the things that you enjoy when you're not working your career job, it takes your energy out, and sometimes you don't even do those things. Sometimes you just want to rest and you just want to do nothing. And it sucks. It really does suck. And that's what I've been feeling lately. I felt it many times before last year. But I was feeling it very much these past 2 weeks, and it's been bad. And so it's really making me reconsider, what am I going to do with my life? Can I really stand doing this for a long time? And so, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone, this is my first career job. So, maybe I'm speaking out of my butt. Maybe I'll get situated in a bit, a little bit later. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's really fascinating. But it's also, it can be really depressing. It's also really exciting, but I will say this, at the very least, I would not go back to the 9 to 5 hour job, the typical job that I used to have, before, or the type of jobs that I used to have, I have like about 4.5, maybe years of experience in retail. So, I did that, and that was hell, in its own way, but it's interesting because those 9 to 5 hour jobs, they're very monotonous. They can be very tedious. Obviously very annoying, especially if you're dealing with management or coworkers that annoy you or whatever. But it doesn't feel like you have a purpose, unless of course this is which there's some people who work 9 to 5 hour jobs, at like Starbucks or something, and they enjoy that and it fulfills them, and that's great. That's wonderful. If you want to do that. If you are doing that and you're enjoying it and it means a lot to you, I'm not saying that you can't find purpose on those jobs, but I would say that most people don't. At least the people that I've spoken to, this isn't really what they want to do. They just do it because they have to get by, or this is the only thing they can do. And so I would say I would never want to go back to that again, because thankfully I have a career job where the 9 to 5 hour experience from even those jobs have, taken a hold of even the career job that I have now. It's very similar experiences, but there's more meaning attached to the job that I'm doing now. Not only because of the job itself, but for me as a person. And obviously pay and all the things that can associate with a career job. So there is some improvement there. It's not like it's the same thing, which is good. That's good, right? You want progress in the world. You don't want to stay in the same you don't want to stay in the same area, or you don't want to stay in a crappy area. So thankfully, I have moved into a higher level. So this is good. But I would say there's also some cons, because as much as the typical 9 to 5 hour job can be, the retail jobs, all of that, right? The blue collar jobs, like, as much as those jobs can be very taxing and annoying or whatnot, there is a comfort to them. There is something very comfortable in them, in the sense that you just do the job and that's it. There's really nothing complicated about the job. You just do it and that's it. Although around my latter years in retail, the last job that I did have, it had some interesting beginnings to it. I was probably, struggling a little bit more than the normal person, I would say, but eventually I ended up getting it. Eventually it was fine. But it could be, sort of, but I don't know. That's probably every job, right? Like the very first, 2-3 weeks of a job can be very, very stressful, regardless of whatever you get into. But I would say in the career world, especially because I'm new into the field that I'm in and the career job in general, those 3 weeks, first few months or whatever in a new job, how stressful those can be. In the career world, that gets extended to like a couple years. That's how it feels. I still feel like I'm very much a newbie, even though I've been doing this for more than a year now. And it sucks. And a lot of it, of course, is dependent on the people that you have around you and whatnot. But like those 3 weeks that originally would be very bumpy in a typical 9 to 5 hour job at Starbucks or retail or whatever, those 3 weeks have now extended themselves in the career world. At least in the first career. Now, granted, the pros to it is the longer that I do it, the more comfortable it is, and the more it'll be worthwhile, because I'm assuming, once I'm years into this, into another job, it'll be much easier to transition. It won't be as bumpy, and it'll just be much more comfortable. So but it's a very different hell, so in a way it feels like you've leveled up. It feels like you've progressed, but so many things, can be just enlarged in a way. And here's the thing too, in that Starbucks job, in that retail job, sorry, I'm picking on you Starbucks employees. I don't mean to do that. But, in those types of jobs, right, like it's, again, you do have those weird 3 weeks, maybe a couple months of bumpiness or whatever, maybe even less depending on how good you are. Maybe I just sucked at jobs in general. But there is this thing where which is sort of what I mentioned earlier, is the comfort. It is safe. That they're pretty much always going to need you. It is a safe thing. And once you get really comfortable, it's really nice. And it's steady, and you don't really have to worry about it. It's always going to exist, for the most part, right? Unless, the COVID. But COVID affects everything, of course. It's one of those things that can be, or recessions, but it's comfortable, and it can be, once you really get the hang of it, it becomes fairly simple. It's very simple. Whereas like career jobs, they can be, volatile, so many times. Even when you're comfortable with something, even when you're getting comfortable, there's always something new, and it's a much more complex permutations, I would say. And there's also just this thing where like, it just, I would say for me personally, the 9 to 5 hour jobs, at retail or whatever, weren't very consequential for me. I just didn't really feel that purpose. And because of that, right, it just, the job was fairly monotonous and boring and simple, and you just felt like you were just giving all that time to the man, and you weren't getting anything in return. You just felt everything was unfair and nonsense and all this. And all those things can be present in career jobs, but you just feel like it's worth it a little bit more. And I would also say it's harder. It's just harder jobs. It really is. It's much more mentally taxing. It's more physically taxing. And also it's very straightforward, unless of course there's overtime, that there might be forced overtime, whatever. But those can exist in those typical 9 to 5 hour jobs. But for the most part, you clock in, you clock out, it's done, right? Whereas career jobs, sometimes certain assignments that you're doing will, bleed over into your real life, into your personal life, even after the job ends. And you're just constantly thinking about, oh my God, like this and that, like about the job. And that is a personal thing. That's probably something that I should not do. But it's because I'm starting out, probably it's very hard for me not to do that. And it can be very, it can be very stressful. And hold on, okay, all right. Just got a notification that pizzas are coming over to my house. That's right, pizzas they're getting legs and arms, and they're walking over to my house. Yeah, I ordered some pizza from Little Caesars. But yeah, just wanted to get into a little tangent there, a little conversation about 9 to 5 jobs and the career world. And yeah, I mean, in many ways, sometimes, everything is sort of a wave, right? Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it can be a lot, but when it gets really busy and really hectic and really chaotic in a career world job, and like I said, I'm only speaking about my career world job. I'm not really speaking about everything. But I'm assuming it's sort of the same thing, right? Because they're just more high stakes jobs. It just is, right? But it gets to the point where I'm just like, when it's chaotic, when it's really hectic, it just bleeds into so much of my personal life. It really can affect me physically, mentally, all of that. Whereas in the retail space, oh, I might have had a really busy day, and that's it, and maybe, the typical, shift drama, with some coworkers or whatnot. But overall, once you get the hang of it and you're fairly quiet and you do your job, you're fine. But for me, in the career world, I'm still struggling. I really am. And maybe it'll take forever for me to adjust. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's probably normal that I feel this way, I don't think I should be ashamed of it. But, that's been my experience. But let me know what's going on with you. Maybe you're fine. Maybe you're doing great. Maybe you're working those retail jobs. Hang in there. Maybe you're still in school. Maybe you don't really even care about career world jobs, and you went back to a normal, very stable barista job or food service job, whatever it is. And there's people who do that and then follow their hobbies, right? Like just in earnest. So there are pros and cons. And just because you're doing one doesn't mean that, it's all going to suck from there for you, It just depends, and you do what makes you happy, But I don't know what I was going to say. I really don't. Yeah, what else can we talk about here? When I would run out of topics, I believe something I started doing a little lately is I'd run out of topics. We go into the internet and get a random topic. So I might just do that. But while I was talking about the career world stuff, I was thinking about other topics. But because I was still talking about the career world stuff, they just sort of escaped me. But I don't know. Life can suck. We'll just say that. We'll just say that. And update on my Drew House package. Apparently they have reshipped it. They've notified me. They said, we're sorry. We have reshipped your package. So hopefully it gets here as quickly as it should have, as the first one should have. That'll be exciting. And I don't know. I'm trying to switch my fashion. You know, I'm trying to make it a little bit more lively. Life's too short to be, to just wear boring clothes. I do believe that. But of course, boring is subjective. Here, let me write some of this stuff down. Just so I remember. Because like I said, it's hard for me to remember what I talked about. What do we talk about here? What do we talk about? We talk about career world jobs, career stress, 9 to 5. And yeah, we'll just do that right now. But I actually just remembered another topic that I was going to talk about: nails. I did my nails. Actually, I didn't do my nails. Someone else did my nails. Look at them. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? There we go. This is the different way of doing it. Yeah. I don't know. There's been a time where I had my brother do my nails. Yes, my brother. And he's really good at it. But you know, I just didn't want to bother him, and then I kind of stopped because it was annoying because I had to do my nails like every like week and a half. I'd had to, you know, redo it, and they'd get really chipped off, and it was very annoying. These have definitely lasted a little bit more. I would say that. It's pretty cool how long they've lasted. I mean, well, they've only lasted about a week, nearly a week. I think tomorrow is like the week actually it's the week. Currently it is Saturday, January 21st, 8 p.m. Yeah, like I just didn't want to bother my brother anymore. And, you know, we didn't have the correct tools or whatnot. So they would get really, they wouldn't last as long, but these, hopefully they last at least 2 weeks. If they last up to 3 weeks, then I'll be golden. That's a jackpot right there. But it also depends, and I don't really know what nail stuff is. Like, I really don't. I went in, my mom went with me, which was really nice of her. You know, like I just came in and I was like, I just want my nails painted. And they're like, what do you want? Glitter or gel? Or I was like, I don't know, like whatever lasts. And I could pick out any design I wanted on the internet. I got yin and yang, red nails, red and black. And the woman was really good. She just was great. She really did a fantastic job. But she, you know, she's so good. You know, she could see a design on the phone or whatnot and just pull it off, which I think is just awesome. So hopefully, I'm probably not going to go to her again. I'm going to go probably to a different one just to kind of try a different one. Hopefully it's around the same price. It's about $35. You know, along with tip. But hopefully it's, another establishment that I go to, you know, does a better job. Hopefully it lasts more. I'm not sure. If I have to pay a little bit more for it to last a long time, that's great. But also, now that I think about it, right, like you want it to last a long time, but you also, I don't know, I'm excited to pick my next design, you know, like, and so, but I don't know, hopefully it's not a phase, because it happened when I was doing it with my brother, where like, you know, I got bored, like after the first week, I was like, all right, I gotta switch. But a lot of it was because I did very just basic, just colors, you know, but these, I did an actual design this time. So I'm interested. I'd like to see what other design I could do. I don't know what, but it should be fun. It should be fun. I don't think I'm ever going to do the extension, like the long nails. I don't think so, because I mean, I don't have physical labor. Like, I don't do physical labor really. So, my mom, though, she does clean, and she did her nails, but she puts on gloves, you know, because the nails can just be eaten up by physical labor. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the extension of nails, even though I don't do physical labor. I think that's probably too feminine for me at that point. You know, But I really, someone like Harry Styles, of course, and even Charlie Puth have painted their nails, and I love the look, and I feel like I always had the inkling to do it, like inside, but I just don't think it was manifested until a couple years ago, I don't know, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not sure. I think my mom did it, and so I was just like, maybe I should do it, because my mom, she's a woman, and she's done it before, so. But it was interesting because, you always, as a guy, when you do something that's a little bit more on the feminine side, you feel a little weird. I at least for me, and which is interesting. But I did it anyway, and my family just kind of found it kind of funny and entertaining in a way, and I think it's nice. I think it's I'm thankful for that. I'm sure that there are other families that it could have been much worse, so I'm thankful for that. Although, I did grow up a little bit more traditional, so it's that's why it's interesting. That's why I'm mentioning it. So let me put that on the list here. I talked about nail designs. But one thing too, I didn't know that. I'm just so dumb, I didn't know that they use ultraviolet light, to dry your nails, which is also a perk of doing it, of going to a nail salon. Because when I was doing it with my brother, I had to do that thing where I was like this, and I have to go constantly, but not this time. This time I did the ultraviolet light, and when I put my fingers in the little machine or whatever, I was like, that burns. Why is it burning? And I'm just thinking oh my God, am I going to get hand cancer now? So hopefully it's fine. And then there was a lady who had her fingernails, not her finger, her toenails painted, and she was under the light, and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So, which I'm assuming that, you could buy those machines, you could do them yourself, I'm just really bad. And she does her nails, of course, the woman who painted my nails, she does her nails. And that's pretty cool, just do it yourself. I wonder if dentists do their own teeth. Last time I asked that to my dentist, she was like, no, we don't, I don't do my teeth. I just think that'd be hilarious. Probably not even possible, but nails and teeth, my God. But, oh my God, I paid $35. To me, that's kind of cheap considering what she was doing. And she really cleaned my nails and stuff, and she did a really good job with the designs, and I dried up my my fingers dried, and I don't know, it was just a lot, and obviously the design, and so it's just I'm like $35, which obviously I gave her more in the tip, but still I'm maybe I'd pay, maybe up to 50 probably max for something like this, just because it's pretty laborious, and also it's too this conversation thing, because you're there, and so you're talking with the worker, they're talking to you, they're, because it's awkward, it's like a 30-minute ordeal, and you don't want to be there and just stare at the wall, same thing with the stylist, a hairstylist, right? So it just depends. But those jobs are very important to society. It's a very interesting, because they're very laborious in a way. They're very, cosmetology in general is a very laborious job. It's a very respectable job, of course, but it's also, a lot of it has to do with your personality. So I really respect those jobs, because it takes a lot of work to do them right, a lot of skill, a lot of technique, but also you got to be personable. You got to be. So, but also sometimes I will admit, when I go to to get my hair done or whatever, sometimes I just want silence. Sometimes I just want that. And I guess I have every right to be like, hey, can we not talk? I just want you to do your job. So I don't know, but I guess it's nice whenever you do find someone that you enjoy talking to. Oh, that's why you got to give them that fat tip. So anyway, this was episode 56 of Chips and Talk. I might bring back the subtitle. I'm not sure. You let me know. But had a good time. Especially because of these chips. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Have a good workout. drive safe. Have a good night. Have a good morning. Have a good rest of your day. Hope your career world job day is great. Hope your Starbucks, shift today goes great, or whatever shift you have today. I hope it goes great. And your support and your listenership means a lot. That's it for me. You take care. Stay safe. And until next time, I love you.